Have you ever been swarmed by Satan's seagulls and wondered to yourself if these could ever be turned into weapons of mass swoopage? Well, I've mutated these pelicans of punishment so you don't have to. I started out by taming a few high-level ichthyes, which were not overly difficult to knock out using bowlers and a couple of darts from a standard long neck. Take that, you stupid pigeon. The stats we got though left a lot to be desired, but I decided I would just work with them anyway, as I couldn't bring myself to tame any more of my mortal enemy. From there, it was just a case of sitting around waiting until we managed to get a perfect female and perfect male with all the best stats. I then raised a few more females and bred them with their father like some kind of sick HBO show. With a lot of breeding happening, we managed to get ourselves 100 females. Well, close enough at least. I proceeded to place down 50 on one side in a neatly stacked pile, and then the remaining on the opposite side of my breeding center. I placed ramps and then ceilings on top so that we could then easily place the perfect male back down on top of the pile evenly. These frisky fauna then continued breeding until we got what we were looking for. A health mutation, which I then placed on the opposite pile of breeders, and then a melee mutation, which I replaced the perfect male with. I let these breed until we managed to get a second matching mutation on each side, and then swapped out the males on top with the latest male mutated babies of the same stat. This continued until we got to our goal, 100 total points into both health and melee. Once we'd managed to get the stats to 100 each, I then picked the best colors we'd managed to get along the way, and set to combining the colors. These were a palette of pink, purple, and blue. I then also set to combining the two mutated stats together. Once I'd finally gotten both a baby with the combined stats and another with the combined colors, I set to work combining them into a final pair of breeders. Once the breeders were raised up, I let them smash to give us our first male and female, which then leads us to the best part of the process, the final result. During my testing, I had discovered one thing. This thing was not showing much promise. But regardless, I set it against a pack of raptors who relentlessly wanted to eat my baryonyx, which, though they took a while to defeat, they did defeat it okay. Then we took on a Carno that seemed intent on never dying, and once again, they did manage to defeat it, though 50 years later. By this point, I was growing a little bit nervous, but luckily the nearest Rex was a low level that they took down with ease. With a heavy sigh knowing what lay in store for me, I sent them after the nearest Alpha Raptor, and though they barely took any hits from it, it took forever to take it down. I couldn't stand the idea of waiting through any more fights with how long it took them to kill anything, so I bred 3 more and threw all 5 against an Alpha Carno, though this was a very low level. This went substantially quicker than before, but they were able to take it down with relative ease, though it still took longer than I would have hoped. I knew very well that 5 of these stood no chance against an Alpha Rex, so I decided to breed up the army of 50 I would need anyway. I spawned in a level 100 Alpha Rex and sent them after it, and I found myself somewhat impressed by the results, though I still didn't see much hope in defeating the final boss. The Alpha Rex went down and I took a moment to soak in the victory. Well, they're doing it, guys, they're doing it! It's gonna work, and it's dead! Yes! And with that, it was time to take on the final boss. This would be the 3rd time I was sending an army after the same level 70 Giga, and I had pretty much resigned myself to a hopeless defeat already, but I sent them in anyway, and I had a glimmer of hope that maybe the fact they were flying would mean they would be safe from being hit too often, but the Giga's immense bite had other ideas. My army fell within seconds. The Ichthyornis army went down with a crushing defeat. And this is when I would say, don't bother mutating Ichthyornis. And with that, consider dropping a like if you survive this long and subscribe if you don't know what's good for you. Leave your suggestions down below if you want to see any more terrible mutations. I hope you all enjoy whatever you're doing, whatever time zone it is, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.